Hey everyone, it's Carissa Wiley at sprinkledwithglitter.com. Thanks for joining me today. Today I am back 2 days in a row, if you can believe that, and I am sharing another project featuring some brand new products from the May 2022 release from Pinkfresh Studio. I wanted to revisit this stained glass product suite because I think it's so versatile and so beautiful, and today I'm going to show you how to use the Pinkfresh Studio solid hot foil plate to foil a die cut. Yes, you can foil a die cut and the results are gorgeous. I'm starting out by foiling the brand new modern script sentiments onto some Hammermill smooth white cardstock using the Glimmer blush foil. I love to use the Glimmer foil with my Gemini FoilPress. You can do that, and you can see I got perfect results there. And I did a bunch of foiling, which you probably saw if you checked out yesterday's video where I shared a project. So I wanted to take all of that leftover foil and use it up because I don't want it to go to waste. So I added my Pinkfresh Studio solid hot foil plate onto my Gemini FoilPress, and I have this at the maximum heat setting for the Gemini FoilPress. I allowed it to stay on there for a couple of minutes once my platform got to full heat, and then I added my foil onto the solid hot foil plate with the pretty side down. I added my cardstock that I will be foiling, a 110-pound paper shim, and then the plate that comes with the foil press. And I gave that about a minute on my platform, and I just used my timer to set that minute. And once that minute was done, I took the base out, or the platform out of the base, and ran that through my Gemini Junior. And you can see I got absolutely perfect solid hot foil results. This was, oh, I just love that. And you just want to peel off the backer that the foil comes on, and you can see I have a gorgeous reverse image. Now I did this with several pieces because I did a lot of hot foiling just in advance. And I had all of those pieces sitting there, and I thought I might as well just do all this while I have the stuff out and just have a bunch of stuff on hand ready to go for card projects in the future. Now that solid hot foil plate is fabulous for reverse foiling images like you just saw me do with the sentiments and with that stained glass hot foil plate background, but it's also fabulous for foiling die cuts. So I am using the stained glass die, and I'm die cutting this from some heavyweight Nina Solar White cardstock. And I did throw my metal shim into this sandwich because it is such an intricate die and I am using a heavyweight cardstock. I wanted to make sure I got a nice clean cut. So I ran that through my Gemini Junior to die cut it. I got a perfect cut, popped out all of the pieces that were hanging into the die cut. And then I'm going to take that die cut over to my solid hot foil plate and I'm going to do some foiling. So the solid hot foil plate is already hot. It's been on my platform for quite a while. And I am taking the Glimmer blush foil and I'm laying that face down, or the pretty side facing the hot foil plate. Then I am adding my die cut on top of that, and I put the face of the die cut towards the back side of the foil. Now I have an additional shim here. This is just computer paper to protect my 110-pound cardstock shim that I'm going to add to my sandwich. And I'm going to finish that all off with the plate that comes with the Gemini FoilPress. I'm going to set my timer for 1 minute. And once that minute has kind of gone through its cycle, my FoilPress will beep at me. I can remove the platform from the base, run that through my Gemini Junior, and remove all of my plates and shims. You can see this kind of stuck to that scratch piece of paper, which is why I put the scratch piece of paper in the sandwich. And then I can remove the backer and I have this gorgeous foiled die cut. Now you could do this with any die cut shape and make it foiled. It's so easy to do. You could foil a piece of cardstock, just a solid piece of cardstock, and then die cut it, but I didn't want to take the risk of like scraping the foil with the die, so I did it this way instead. Now I wanted to give this foiled die cut some dimension, so I am taking 2 additional die cuts that I die cut from heavyweight white cardstock. I put them into my spray adhesive box on my work surface, and I sprayed those with some Elmer's Craft Bond on the front side of them. So I put the adhesive on the front side of both of these die cuts. And then I'm stacking up that foiled die cut on top of that stack of two. So this is gonna have some dimension to it. It's just gonna make it pop. And I absolutely love to do this with such an intricate background die. It just really wows in person, adding that additional dimension. So I'm just taking my time and making sure that I kind of line this up. I've tried a lot of spray adhesives. I would say that there's not one that I absolutely love. I wish I could find one in a non-aerosol bottle that I loved. The E6000 is available in that type of spray bottle, but I don't love it. So I'm using what I have and what works for me in this situation. So now I have an A2 top folding size card base and the coordinating stencils that are a part of the stained glass product suite that was released in the Pinkfresh Studio May 2022 release. And I am using the registration marks on the stencil to line it up centered on my A2 size card base here. So this is made from some Nina Solar White cardstock. There are some little registration marks, as I mentioned. They're hard to show you in the video, but they are designed to line up with an A2 size card panel or card base, whatever you want to use. Now, once I have that in place, I'm going to use a pretty heavy hand and ink blend some of this Tidal Pond ink right over the stencil. This is stencil number 2 of 3 in the set of layering stencils that coordinates with this stained glass product suite. And once I have the ink laid down, I'm going to wipe over it with a dry cloth to remove the excess ink because I'm going to add some embossing powder to the open areas here. So I've wiped off the extra ink and I'm taking an ink dauber tool and I'm pressing some Versamark ink in through the open areas of the stencil. Now, if you checked out yesterday's video, I did the same technique. I did it in kind of a different order. But this is kind of the same technique where you're adding some selective heat embossing to areas through a stencil. And I'm going to remove that stencil and then add some clear embossing powder over that inked area. And then I'm going to take my heat tool and I'm going to melt that embossing powder. Now I do want to mention I am using a regular grind clear embossing powder for this. The super fine detail clear embossing powder is fabulous for fine lines, but if you want a little more dimension, try using a regular grind embossing powder rather than a super fine embossing powder to give you a little more lift. So the granules are just going to be a little bit bigger and that's going to give you a little more dimension, or you can layer up layers of the super fine embossing powder instead. So now that my card base is ready, I went ahead and took the scrap paper that's in my box and I flipped it over so I wouldn't get any adhesive onto the foiled front of these stacked up die cuts. And I used the spray adhesive to add adhesive all over the back of this stack of die cuts that I created earlier. And once again, I'm just taking my time to make sure I get this lined up on the front of my card because this is going right onto my card base and I have that inked and embossed area below that I want to make sure everything's lined up, and then I can press that into place. And then I am using some Curvy leaves. I used these in yesterday's project too, I know. I've die cut those from some vellum and I am just adding some liquid glue to hold those onto my card front. Now I actually rearranged them so they're kind of going the opposite direction on the card to the left right now. That's okay. You want to do it the other way, you can. But I wanted to create a banner shape for this kind of grouping that I'm creating in the middle. So I ink blended some more Tidal Pond ink onto some plain white cardstock. And then I used this die from the Artistic Bows die set from Pinkfresh Studio to die cut a banner. And I'm going to stack that up with my foiled sentiment that says many thanks. And I also added another foiled diamond frame that I created using that same blush foil. Have that all stacked up in there in the middle. And then I added some Pinkfresh crystals, just clear crystals, to this card to finish it off. I think this is a great kind of masculine leaning card. Maybe not completely masculine, but it kind of leans a little towards the masculine side, and I think it's absolutely gorgeous. It would make a great Father's Day card as well. Now, as always, I will have links to the featured products used in this project in the description at YouTube. So if you're looking for something in particular, be sure you check there. Or you can head on over to my blog at sprinkledwithglitter.com. I will have that linked below as well. Over there, you'll find more still shots, more information, and a complete list of supplies. But I did want to mention also that this project is a part of a hop happening over on Instagram. You can enter to win prizes, see tons of inspiration featuring the new Pinkfresh Studio May 2022 release. So I will have a link to my Instagram profile below as well, so be sure to check that out. Thank you so much for stopping by today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this project and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications here on my YouTube channel so you won't miss any of my paper crafting and card making video tutorials. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.